This is the first path assignment for the Photoshop class. I am redoing it in the new Adobe Creative Cloud, where some of the menu items have changed since the first time I did the movie. Okay, I'm going to get right into it, so I'm not going to delay anything. You can watch the first movie. I don't know why it's jumping down there. You can watch the first movie to really understand pathing, but I'm going to show you where some of the icons have changed. We are going to use this path palette, and in the first movie I talk about all of these different paths, these paths right here. Let me turn off this so we can see the white background right back here. These are to add paths, and I want to show you how to change these paths into different things. So I'm going to duplicate this path very quickly, and I'm going to move it up to the top, and then I'm going to delete it in a few seconds because I want you to see this path right here change several times. I don't know why it moved down there. It shouldn't have moved down there. Okay, so I have two of the same path virtually. When you see white in a path palette that is between two overlapped shapes, just like this, that means I took, either drew it by hand, or I took the tool right here, the rectangle, the U tool, and I drew it, okay? But I want you to see that when you draw, you need to make sure that this is on paths, not shapes, so that the paths don't end up as vector shapes in a layer. You don't have to remember that I said that, but I'm going to say that. The next thing is, make sure when you're drawing that your icon that is for combine, which really means add, subtract, intersect, or exclude, is on the right one. So what I want to do is change this one to a few of them to show you the difference. When I command click this, it totally means that the marquee selection where it was overlapping, if they are two combine or add paths, it's the same word, they actually ignore the overlap area. Okay, so the result to that would be this. Let me just, do not know why it's jumping like that. That's a little glitch in my movie thing. That's okay. I'm going to change this to a color just so I can show you, and then I'll throw it away. Watch when I hit Option Delete. Okay, that filled, but it ignored the center area where the two paths overlap. So I'm going to Command Z back. I'm now going to take the P key, standing for pen, and I just deselected, Command D, and I'm going to hold the Command or Control key, Control on a PC, Command on a Mac, and I'm going to marquee these two paths. Now watch what happens when I change these two to subtract paths. Watch how the icon up here in the path palette changed to where it's dark on the inside, white on the outside. It means that if I make a selection of this and I hit Option Delete, that it's going to fill on the outside, not the inside. Okay, I'm going to Command Z back. I'm going to deselect and I'm going to click back to this. If I hit the P key for pen and I hold Command or Control and I marquee so the points are solid, I can change this to an intersect path. Now in an intersect path, you can see that where the two paths actually overlap each other, the path up here changed to white. It means it's going to ignore any of the dark areas out here. So when I command click it, it only switches to this, and this would be the result. So let me Command Z back. Let me deselect and click back to this. Now if I hit the P key again and hold the Command or Control key and marquee so the points are solid, I'm going to change it to the fourth one, which is exclude. Pretty much could stay on exclude for the entire time you're drawing, because that makes a single add path or combined path when you're drawing, and if there's two paths, they react mostly correctly. Now look at the icon up here. What's white is going to fill, what's white is going to fill, and what's dark in the middle is not going to fill. So command clicking that, if I hit Option Delete, it will fill like that. That's called an intersect path. So I'm going to Command D the selection and throw away that layer because it's really one I didn't want. And this is what I want you to do for your file. Okay, I want almost of the same shapes that I created, but these are the shapes that I want you to do. Okay. I'm actually going to hit the F key so this doesn't jump anymore, and I'm going to pull this out to this point right here. Now that shouldn't actually jump anymore. I want to just center that on the screen and just leave it alone. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to make an add result. So between and using this one and this one, okay, I'm going to use those. Now, I really don't want this copy of these paths anymore, and this one should have stayed right there. I must have just moved it. So this add path here and this add path here that overlap each other, we're going to utilize, okay, to make the 4 shapes, but not the exact 4 shapes that you see here. So first I'm going to make a layer here, and I'm going to call it, in this case, combine, which actually does mean add, so I'll put them both in here. And then I can say that this is Brian's shape, or this is whatever. I'll just say that this is Brian. Put your name in there, okay? Now, now that layer is selected, I'm going to command click on the first one and hold the shift key. That's command or control click on it. Then I'm going to go down here to the second one and control shift or command shift the second one. Now when I click up here and I hit option delete, it fills correctly. So these are 2 combined shapes, which that's why they came up with the name combined. So let me deselect and turn it off. Now let's make another one. So let's now go to a subtract shape. So I'm going to put in here subtract. And I'm going to say it's Brian. Hit the return key, and I am going to command click the first one, which is up here. Okay, the first one is the one on the upper left, that's up here. And I'm going to show you the second one, but I'm going to subtract this out. So this whole shape is going to be subtracted from the marquee that's there. Hopefully you can see the marquee on the screen that I've done. I'll zoom in a little bit. And then I'm going to hold Control or Command for Mac and PC, and then Alt or Option, and I'm going to subtract it out. Now I have this shape right here. Okay? Now I should have saved the selection so it appeared in channels on the very first one. I'll go backwards and do it. It's okay that I didn't. But first I'm going to save this selection as subtract. Whoops. And I'm just going to leave it alone. And now I have my subtract shape. So I'll make sure I'm clicked on that layer, option delete and fill. So I'm gonna now I'm just going to make a selection of the very first one. I can do that by clicking right on the layer. It turns the pixels that are there into a selection, and I can go to select and save selection and call this combine or add, and I can just move one above the other. Okay, so now I have it in the right order. Let's make a third layer, and let's call this one an intersect. Sorry. And now I am going to intersect the two of them. So I'm going to command click the first one, which is command or control click. Now hold all 3 keys. That's Control, Alt, or Shift, or Command, Option, and Shift, and click the second one. What happens, and I'm going to let go of my keys so you can see the shape. I want this shape that's in the center right here. Okay, not the top, not the bottom, just the center. So I hold Control, Alt, and Shift, or Command, Option, and Shift. I click it and I get that shape. I will save that selection as intersect. And now I have it saved over here, and I can hit Option Delete, make sure I'm selected on the layer. I'm good to go. So now I deselect, I make a 4th layer, and I call it Exclude. Now I'll do what I normally do is I just marquee this and Command C, excuse me, I Command C it so that I can leave that layer selected. Now I want to exclude that shape. So what do? I command click the first one right up here. Let me turn off that layer. And I am going to show you the second one. Okay, so I need to add them together. So that's Control Shift or Command Shift to add them together. Now I could have just gone over here and made one selection of this channel. It would have done the same thing. Then I could have subtracted this. Okay, so I should show you the 2 different ways. So I can subtract, that's Command, Option, or Control, Alt, the center of this. Watch when I save this, I'll hit Command V and save it. Look at how I get the shape that I want. All right, and Option Delete and Fill. Now I could have gotten the same shape a second ago by not using the paths and by using the saved channels. So I'm going to turn off this. I just won't fill it again, or else, well, I'll make a new layer, but I'll just call this one Throwaway. Watch how I could have made a selection of this combine path. Boom. I'll click up to the RGB image. Now if I just go Control Alt or Command Option, I could subtract, much easier to subtract the channels because they're already done. Now if I would save the selection, it would look just like this, and of course if I hit Option Delete, it would fill just like that. So that's what I want you to turn in. I want you to turn in, let me throw away this layer, these 4 layers. You probably already are done this assignment. I just wanted to upgrade it to show you that in the old movie, the icons were set in the options palette going across horizontally. Now they're in a submenu. That's all. Okay? And follow the steps if you need to. Rewatch the movie if you need to. But I do want you to understand the difference between add, subtract, exclude, and intersect, and what they are, and what the key clicks are. Okay? To add something together, you hold Command Shift or Control Shift. To subtract something from something else, you hold Command Option or Control Alt. To exclude, to intersect something like this one right there that I'm actually clicking on right there, to intersect it, you go Control Alt Shift. You make a selection of the first one, which is Command or Control click. Then you Command Option Shift or Control Alt Shift the second one, and you get the intersection between the two. Then you have to manipulate something to actually get the exclude one. It means you have to add these two together. These two have to be added together. And then you subtract the one that's in the center. So you have to subtract this one. So that is a, adding them together is a, like I said, Command Shift, Control Shift, and then a Command Option or a Control Alt to subtract that one. Then you get this shape right there, and you're good to go. Okay, so I hope that helped. If you have to watch the movie again, please do so, and go on to the second exercise. Thank you.